day, everyone, from wherever it is in the world. I'm excited to be here with you again as we begin a very bright week. My prayer is that your week will be vibrant, impactful, and fulfilling, not just externally, but internally. Today, I want to speak about something that I feel is close to many people's hearts. One time in your life or another, you probably have questioned yourself, questioned your position, questioned the order in which you were born, or something about you. Today, we're talking about accepting your position. Accepting your position. Now, I just felt that this is something that people needed to hear and needed to engage with on a personal level. And my hope is that after this session, you really feel better about yourself, knowing that nothing at all is random or coincidental about who you are, including the position that you're in. And when I talk about position, I'm not talking about your status and the situations of life. I'm actually talking about position. At every given point in life, we're taking up a certain position. You know, when we're growing up, in our early childhood, we're in school, and, you know, the position that we're in is also determined on our developmental phase. So you're in early childhood, mid-school, high school, post-high school. In your later lives, you're, working in different parts of life. Whatever the positions you're in the progression of your life, that position is right. Okay? And I also want to speak into our positions in our family. I've seen situations where people detest the order of their birth. Lastborns detest being the last because they feel like everybody looks down upon them, ignores their opinion, ignores their identity. They just feel like they've got a lot to offer, but they don't have space to express themselves, to express their voices. On the other hand, older siblings are wishing that they were the last ones because they think last ones get away with things, find parents when they are exhausted and sort of like more chilled out in their parenting, and so they find that last ones get away with a lot that the older siblings and the older children may not have gotten away with. There's all these things, the middle children feel lost somewhere in the middle. They feel like there's a lot of attention that was given to the older ones and to the younger ones, and these in the middle feel lost, feel like they're not loved, no attention, and they start to wish or feel like they were either the older in position or youngest in position. You find that the oldest siblings, tend to have a lot of resentment towards their siblings and towards their parents because all responsibility, all issues, all demands are put on them. There's a very high expectation on them, So there's all these different things. And while a lot of people don't have an opportunity to discuss this matter, I felt it really strong in my spirit to speak about it today. Accepting your position. And I will interplay this, even though I want to primarily discuss it from a point of order of birth, the positions of our birth, whether you're the firstborn, second, third, whatever your position, accepting, enjoying, and playing in that position is something that I would like us to discuss today. And as you begin your week and go forth into the rest of your days, I just want you to love that position that you're in and to accept it and to thrive in it, knowing that nothing was by mistake, right? I also want to look at perspectives in terms of seasons of life. You could have a higher expectation of where your life needs to be and the dream of your life, knowing certain things that you know about yourself and where you're aspiring to be. But I'd like you to accept and embrace the journey and the process towards that end that you're looking for. Okay? Because then you end up making sure that you're not missing out on the vital milestones that exists in each of those points and in each of those milestones, right? you may want to be the CEO of your organization, and you're well positioned for it. But right now, you may be in a position on your way there, but a position that you did not necessarily want or may not necessarily have aspired for. But while you're there, when I say accept the position, does not mean accept that position permanently. This is as far as the workplace, the marketplace, and the external factors as a side of your birth order is concerned. It means while you're in that progression, in that position of influence, whether it's work, whether it's in the marketplace, whether it's in leadership, wherever it is, accept, embrace it, learn, and allow the milestone and the situation to equip you for where you're going, so that you're not going where you are aspiring to go, missing out on the critical, vital tools that you need to be able to thrive where you're going. But like I said, my conversation today, I need to focus on accepting your position in your birth order. I just feel that there needs to be an emphasis for people to just accept that. There's a lot of misalignment in terms of expectations and complaints and disappointments based on the order. There are people who envy even a position because they feel that that's a position that is honored, that has authority. But I want you to accept an influence from where you are. Find that everything that is happening, that order and position that you were given, has nothing to do with your ability to fulfill your purpose or assignment on the earth. It does not hinder at all your ability to fulfill your purpose or not. Now, I do know that in some cultures, right, the Jewish culture, the African culture, and perhaps other cultures, have a lot of emphasis on the firstborn, right? It's sort of like a reserved, position that carries a lot of things with it. Yeah, monarchies, they look at the first, and the inheritance and things like that. So you find that firstborns automatically, their life, their fate, I don't want to call it fate, they're sort of like parts of their destinies have already been predetermined for them just by order and position of their birth. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes they resent it because they could be needing to inherit or take up certain roles or status in society based on their order of birth that they were probably not interested in, ready for, or liking. But I'd love to encourage all of you, whether you're the firstborn, whatever the order and position, accept that order, embrace it, look and see, reflect, pray about it, and see what is it that my Maker, that God had intended by allowing me to be born in this position, in this order. And that also looks at your gender. There are people who say, I wish I was born male, I wish I was born female, because you feel limited in the gender in which you're born. I'd say embrace yourself in the fullness of the order in which you were created in. All right? There are people who say, if I was, and this also speaks to parents, accept your children in their uniqueness, in their personalities, temperament, and character, in how, they were born, right? There are people who look at their children and say, I wish that fourth one was my first one, because he or she is doing 1, 2, 3 that my first one is not doing. You're actually releasing, a projection that is going to interfere with the fulfillment of the purpose and assignment of your children. Accept even the order in which they came in and embrace them in who we are. Do not project things that are counterintuitive to who they have been created to be. Okay? When I look at Joseph in the Bible, Joseph was the 11th born of Jacob's 12 sons. And the way his life panned out and turned out as the one who delivered not just his family, but the entire nation of Israel. It turned out in a way that in many people's eyes, including that very Jewish culture, could have been a manifestation that was reserved for the firstborn to manifest. So if we embrace and we are secure and we are not projecting envy and jealousy and insecurities and complaints and bitterness and tantrums because of our order and position, and we're looking and saying that one is favored because they're last. That one, just allow things to flow and embrace who you are, the order, the position, and make sure that you're showing up to be able to manifest the fullness of who you are, irrespective of the order of your birth. I also want to tell you something, that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. If you're second in line, you're the second born. Okay, I'm somebody who really loves numbers. And the number 2 is so divine. It's a number of covenants, it's relationships, it's agreements. It carries a lot of weight inside of it. See yourself as somebody who's been well positioned to build strong relationships, great big agreements between nations and governments and whatever area you're called to. Just look and see the natural given mandate that your order of birth has given you. Okay? When you look at 7, when you look at 9, when you look at 3, when you look at 1, whatever the number, embrace it, accept it, love the uniqueness of it, and go forth and manifest it. Okay? Now, based on the order of birth, gender, the sex and gender that you are or your siblings are, irrespective of how society and culture looks at it, irrespective of what they speak about it, because I think in a lot of the societies we live in, the number of birth, your position, order of birth can sometimes work for or against your agenda. Okay, so things that automatically pass to the firstborn girl, automatically pass to the firstborn son, automatically pass to the firstborn or lastborn. In some of the cultures in my country, the total inheritance of the parents' wealth, total inheritance goes to the lastborn boy. So you can imagine if they're like 10 sons ahead and they're watching this last one come in to take all the inheritance, especially of property, and land. It can be quite controversial. They can even kill him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So as we try and circumvent and overcome some of the challenges that are existing in the society around us, I want you to intrinsically look at yourself and accept your position. Allow God to work in and through you without the limitations of what has been put around you based on your order of birth, right? Based on your gender, based on certain things that you can't change, but that are determining certain things that you are outside of your control, right? Allow yourself to enjoy freely and with full security the ability to learn and to tap into the higher source of power, which is God, to equip you to thrive. Because some people, I find, limit themselves based on what is available. So if I use the example of a society where they have reserved inheritance, number 1 for a certain gender, number 2 for a certain order of birth, the people in certain order of birth, right? And these things could apply for you who are in different parts of the world based on your context, your society in different ways. But I just want to use these examples. You find that people are already growing up with their eyes on the things around. Oh, my brother is the one who's been set up to inherit. So there's already, at a young age, resentment, competition, envy, and jealousy based on those predetermined things. Rather, why don't you look higher and know that you were equipped with sound mind, with brilliance, with creativity, with talent, with hands, legs, with a mouth that can speak, with clarity, with opportunities that you can actually create wealth, solve problems, mitigate challenges that are around you, that positions you higher to access wealth that your parents didn't even have. So you don't need to eye that limited, reserve that exists around you and begin to just put and point all your efforts towards that limited reality. I see people squabbling in families, squabbling and arguing and fighting because of these limitations. Today, I want to tell you, rise above those limitations that have been predetermined based on your order or gender of birth. Rise above it. Look within yourself and tap into the source that is high above all other sources. This God, tap into God's mind, God's spirit, God's creative abilities, and begin to create a new reality that rises above those limitations. And you see, once you do that, automatically your feelings, emotions, and relationships begin to become healthy. The ones that the society has set and said the last one will have this, the first girl will have this, you automatically rise above that. You will love your siblings irrespective. Because these things also can rob us of healthy relationships with our siblings and our loved ones that God already ordained and purpose for us to have with. People start plotting for the death of siblings because they can see they want to be the ones to inherit certain things or to take up certain things in the eyes of society, of culture, of parents, right? And parents, do the best you can to not limit or push or project certain favors based on the order of your children's birth or the gender in which they are created. Provide equal opportunities as much as you can as a parent. Love them the best way you know how. And I'm speaking to us as well, because when you become a parent, apply that same formula so that you're used by God as a vessel to able to nurture the next generation of great people who are giving impact. So today, irrespective of your order of birth, from today onwards, embrace that position. Accept that position. Begin to look at yourself as one unique human being who has been positioned in that family, irrespective of that order, to bring about lasting change and impact in your area of calling. Begin to heal. Begin to forgive siblings, parents, relatives, society, and people around you who have limited and boxed you into places that you cannot optimize who you are. Let it go. Embrace, accept that position, and I hope that from this moment onwards, you begin to flow in that limitless ability and capability. Do have a beautiful week, embracing and accepting your position and order of birth, and knowing that nothing has happened by mistake. You are exactly in the position and order that God had planned that you be born for the furtherance of the purpose that He created you for. Blessings.